Hello viewers, welcome to our 1 PM News. My name is Adna Kaindi and our sign language interpreter is Wanjangede. On to our first news. Drama erupted in Mbeere North constituency this morning when the Democratic Party leader Justin Muturi publicly confronted Chinga ward MCA Kiruga Thuku during the voting process. Muturi accused Thuku of attempting to bribe voters in support of the UDA candidate Leo Wamuthende, a claim that escalated tensions at the event. The confrontation saw Muturi ordering Thuku to leave the place, warning party members against any form of voter manipulation. Supporters of both leaders reportedly engaged in heated exchanges by security personnel, but security personnel intervened to prevent the situation from escalating further. Thuku is now under the scrutiny as party officials vow to investigate claims of vote buying. The incident highlights the growing friction among political leaders in the lead-up to the Mbeere North by-election, with tensions expected to remain high in the coming days.
Well, my candidate is registered in his ward, Mumenji. I understand at Karambari Primary School. That's where I'll be voting. He had indicated to me last night when we parted that he will be casting his ballot at around midday today. In the first hour, there's been no incidents has been reported. I have checked with the people in Siakago around the town. I've checked with the people around Ishiara, and here, as you can see, the situation is calm, and therefore, my assumption is that if all goes well, we should get an incident-free polling day. Well, I heard the story about the roadblocks, which the particular reporter who mentioned about the roadblocks, saying that they were elected from around Mbeere, which is in Kiruga County, coming all the way to Embu. I think it is a good thing because if the police are serious, then they should be able to pick out any bad elements that may be coming from outside the county to come and disrupt the process.
And on to our next news. Tensions escalated in Malava constituency as voting began for the highly contested by-elections, with UDA candidate David Ndakwa accusing his rivals of intimidating voters. Speaking after casting his ballot, Ndakwa claimed opposition supporters were pressuring residents and attempting to disrupt the election process, insisting he was committed to maintaining peace at the polling stations. Meanwhile, DAPK candidate Seth Panyako allegedly an assassination attempt the night before the election, claiming that unidentified attackers raided his hotel, injured his driver, and damaged vehicles. Panyako accused state-backed actors of orchestrating the attack to silence him due to his perceived lead in pre-election polls, further raising tensions ahead of voting. The by-election, triggered by the death of previous MP, has drawn significant attention due to serious allegations from both camps. Observers say the contest between Ndakwa and Panyako has been marred by claims of voter bribery, intimidation, and threats, highlighting the heightened political rivalry and need for strict security and electoral oversight.
UDA ikiongozwa na Faruk Kibet pamoja na Kevin Mahelo wameanza shughuli ya kuwahonga wapiga kura wa Malava, na Faruk Kibet amekuwa hapo Hamtua. Unajua Hamtua ni kwangu nyumbani kabisa. Kutoka kwangu mpaka Hamtua ukitembea kwa mguu itakuchukua dakika 15. Na Faruk anakuja kabisa kwangu nyumbani kukuja kuchukua na kupea watu shilingi 2,000 ili wapikie mtu wao wa UDA kura. Mambo ya kutafuta kura alisha jana. Na sasa leo yale Faruk amefanya na Mahelo Kevin wanafanya ni kujaribu kubribe wapiga kura. Tuko na ushahidi na hiyo mkutano na video zimechukuliwa, na tayari nimetuma kwa IBC Malava kuangalia kazi ambayo Faruk Kibet anafanya. Kio nyinyi mnaamini kwamba wananchi wa Kenya wana haki ya kupiga kura, kwa nini mambo yote mnamwaka pesa wananchi Malava? Hata akikupe shilingi 2,000 itakurudishia Linda Mama. Hiyo shilingi 2,000 itakurudishia Edwafia. Hiyo shilingi 2,000 wameongeza 10,000 kwa school fees mwaka huu, itakulipia karo ya shule. Kwa hivyo nyinyi chukua hiyo pesa, muziombe, alafu mnunue nyama mkule. Naambia polisi, maana polisi kwa ujumla wanafanya kazi nzuri, lakini watu wametumia wakora ndani ya security forces kuja Malava na kukosa mayhem. Kuleta wakora kutoka Kayole, kutoka Kariobangi, Dadora, kukuja kuweka pale Sweetwaters Webuye. Hiyo itawasaidia. Sisi tuko tayari kabisa kumenyana na hao watu. Lakini kitu muhimu, naomba IEBC ihakikishe uchaguzi na uwazi.
And moving on, voting is currently underway in Ungoja constituency after preparations were finalized and officials and security teams fully deployed to polling stations. Returning officer Dennis Omare confirmed that 116 presiding officers and their deputies and clerks were overseeing the process, with polling stations operating from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. He encouraged voters to exercise their democratic right peacefully and vacate polling stations after voting. Siaya County Police Commander Samuel Kobina assured the residents of maximum security throughout the exercise, urging them to remain calm and avoid disruptions. He warned that anyone attempting to interfere with the process would face firm action from law enforcement agencies.
In 2022, we were not using the face, the picture, to identify or rather to check the validity of a voter who has come. So this time round, we are doing that. When your fingerprints cannot detect, we go further and now look for your face within the machine. The only assurance I was giving you, I should give the voters, is that nobody who is not registered as a voter will be allowed to vote.
We have security in place, and therefore their only clarion call is let them go to the voting, leave the station, go back to their family and their farms. We shall be available across. But for those who are intending contrary, they will meet the full force of the law.
And then the other thing as a commission we are also stressing is that we are going to ensure we will do a lot of voter education. We have to tell the people after this by-election towards preparations of general election what it needs to be done and how people need to do. Once we understand, then I'm sure we are going to have a very peaceful
And on to our next news. Migori County has begun a 16-day campaign aimed at ending digital violence against women and girls to safeguard their dignity. County Chief for Gender Inclusivity, Professor Rose Odhiambo, said online harassment is rising at an alarming rate, with 51% of women globally affected in 2024. She noted that the abuse cuts across all ages, education level, and social backgrounds. Odhiambo called for a joint approach involving county and national governments, civil society, community leaders, and technology stakeholders. The campaign, themed End Digital Violence Against All Women and Girls, seeks to honor survivors and raise awareness of the growing threat of technology-facilitated abuse, urging society to build a safer environment. And on to our next news. High Court Judge Anne Andwera has appealed to the government to increase funding to the judiciary to help tackle the growing backlog of cases in South Nyanza region. Speaking during a public participation forum in Migori town, she said staffing levels were too low, noting that Migori County is currently served by only one High Court judge, one Environment and Land Court judge, and 8 magistrates. Justice Andwera expressed concern that many litigants travel over 50 kilometers to access the nearest court, undermining access to justice. She termed the current personnel levels a drop in the ocean for a region experiencing rapid population growth and expanding legal demands.
You must have heard how many cases that we have, and we are constraining. You know the extent to which Migori County is big. It has only one judge for the High Court and one judge for the Environment and Land Court. We have 8 magistrates who handle cases within this county. That is a drop in the ocean in consideration of the ever-growing population that we have and the many cases that are being registered every day. As you may have heard, High Court now has almost 1,000 cases that are pending. That is waiting for one judge in the High Court to handle. Same to the Environment and Land Court. And we cannot talk about the Magistrates Court. The Magistrates Court in Migori alone is supposed to have 6 magistrates. we have only 4. Out of those 4, 1 is small claims court. We are supposed to have court stations in all the sub-counties, at least 2 magistrates in all the sub-counties, but we just have Migori Court, we have Rongo and Kehanja, which has only 8 magistrates. So that is the reason why we are agitating for, or we are asking that we are given finances that is capable of helping us to discharge our responsibilities as a judiciary. Yeah, so that is what reason, and we are urging the politicians to support it, because we don't work for ourselves. We are exercising authority that has been donated to us by the people of Kenya. When we tell them to provide funds, maybe from CDF, we are not telling them in my personal capacity, okay? I tell them because they are a representative of the people. Sawa sawa. And if you have a case with a member of parliament, I can assure you that I will look at the law and look at the evidence. Sawa sawa. Yeah, I'm trained to look at the law and look at the evidence and the circumstances of the case.
Our overall budget requirement is about 46 billion. And the indicative budget that we have gotten from Treasury at the moment is about 29 billion, giving us a shortfall of 17 billion shillings, a 38% shortfall. And that will go a long way to affect all our services and planned service delivery mechanisms that we have laid ahead. So when we say we have a deficit, it comes to affect everything to do with administration of justice. We need to do infrastructure for courts. We need to enhance our ICT. We need to take care of our staffing and all the requirements that the court requires. And we need to take care of the population that comes to us for services. So that deficit of about 38% is way too high. And that is why we are robbing the parliament and other stakeholders who work in the provision of budgets to the institutions to consider or to look into it.
And on to our final news, the Dawodi Bora Muslim community visited former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's grave at Kango Kajaramogi in Bondo, honoring his lifelong contributions to peace, unity, and justice in Kenya. They delivered condolences from their 53rd spiritual leader, His Holiness Dr. Sedna Mufadal, to Odinga's wife and Ida, that is Ida Odinga. Huzaifa Hakimi, speaking on behalf of the community, highlighted their 30-year connection with the Odingas, and praised Odinga's role in bringing stability and development to the country. He noted that the community, which he has lived in Kenya for over 200 years, benefited from projects initiated by the late leader. Now, thank you for watching the 1 p.m. news. Thank you for watching Science TV as well. Don't forget to join us in our later bulletins. My name is Edna Kaindi and our sign language interpreter, Wanjangede. Good afternoon.